Welcome to Beyond Rockets. Hope you're having a great day. My name is Clark Dunn and I'm your host. Get ready to enjoy some awesome conversations from Huntsville locals about cool work they are doing right here in the Rocket City. You can connect with us on social media at Beyond Rockets, and if you're interested in doing a podcast yourself, I'd love to hear from you. You can visit my website, beyondrockets.com today, or connect with me on LinkedIn at Clark Dunn. Sit back and enjoy this episode of Beyond Rockets. This episode is sponsored by Yellowhammer Brewing. Yellowhammer is a local craft brewery serving Huntsville for the past 14 years. They are known for their premium craft beers like their T-Minus and Rebellion, but what you might not know is they also offer spirits, wine, seltzers, and non-alcoholic drinks. Next time you stop by their location, try one of their seasonal cocktails made with the Gemini Bourbon or the Yellowhammer Vodka. Or try this year's big hit, Pineapple Punch Seltzer. You can find out more information about Yellowhammer Brewery by visiting their website, yellowhammerbrewery.com, or visiting their tap room located at Campus 805.
Well, I'm excited to have y'all here today. Welcome to the podcast. Would you like to introduce yourself and we'll get started?
Well, I'm Danny Davis. I own and operate the Tangle String Studios and I have the pleasure to serve on the Huntsville Music Board.
Awesome.
And work with Rob.
I'm Rob Buddo. I'm the president and CEO for Downtown Huntsville, Inc.
Yeah, and so today we're talking a little bit about the Campus 805 After 5 event that kicks off here in May, so we're right around the corner. Before we dive into talking a little bit about what last year looked like and what people can expect to see this year, talk a little bit about what Campus 805 After 5 is.
So Campus 805, or 805 After 5 is a partnership between Downtown Huntsville, Inc., the Huntsville Music Office, and Campus 805. And really the idea is that we were really kind of looking for an event that catered to our young professional community. DHI, we have a lot of different events that appeal to a lot of different demographics, but we don't really have one that caters right to our young professional demographic. And through some surveying and just some general research, we've found that there are folks looking for those type of events in downtown. So, we thought it'd be a great opportunity if we were able to do an event that really catered to that group, but also, was something that, we have a great relationship with the music office and wanted to really partner on something. And we really felt like there was an opportunity to create an event around music. And one of the music office's, objectives is to kind of build a music discovery culture here in Huntsville. And, one of the best ways to do that is to bring, free shows to the market, and not just, free shows, but great touring acts as well. And we kind of came up with this idea of, well, what if we did a kind of live After 5 event, but, put our own Huntsville spin on it and did it over at Campus 805, which is, a unique facility in and of its own. We have two great anchors there with Straight to Ale and Yellowhammer, and it's just filled with great local tenants or local businesses.
And I think, like you mentioned, it's not just about, there is a music scene that's already here. I mean, there's plenty of places like Tangled Strings, like other places that small acts will play. Touring acts will even come into town. Danny and I were talking about it before we got started about some of the acts that are coming here in the next week or two. But, getting that bigger name and creating an environment that is tailored to the young professional, because that's the workforce that Huntsville needs. That's the workforce that comes in the summer. That's they come in for internships. They're from out of town and they're looking to connect with people their own age. What better place than over a beer and some live music? And so, last year was the first year, 2024.
Yeah.
What was that like? What's some things that you learned from that year? And kind of how was the success of 805 After 5?
Well, we learned a lot with last year's event, and overall, it was a tremendous success. Our hypothesis was that if we created this event, we could get, and if we kind of focused on these discovery bands and we did, hosted this around two great breweries, we would attract that, young professional demographic. And that was our leading demographic last year. So that was a big success for us, was that, we wanted to create that event that appealed to that group. And we did. So that was a big win. But we also learned a lot along the way. We learned some about, our lineup. We one of the big things we did last year, we kind of threw this together. I wouldn't say at the last moment, but we were definitely, building the plane in the air. And we were booking talent probably 2 months out in advance. We really wanted to make sure that one of the goals we had for this year was to make sure we had the full lineup ready to go before the first concert. And, we have that, and we'll get into that more in a minute. But, we feel like that allows folks to really be able to plan their summer around our event and kind of make it a can't miss event.
Yeah.
And that's what we're really excited about. We also learned that, starting it right at 5 in the summer, on Butler Green with minimal tree coverage is,
it's a little warm.
Yeah, it's a little warm. So we had some nights where the green looked a little sparse and most people were, kind of packed into the patios. So we said, let's start it a little bit later this year. So, that was something we learned as well. And, we're learning how to navigate, some parking challenges. So hopefully we'll have that taken care of this year. So just a lot of little things, but overall, I mean, we, with Danny's help, Matt's help, and just kind of the event experience and knowledge that DHI has, I mean, I don't think you can necessarily ask for a better first year of an event. I mean, it really went off well without a hitch. And, now that we have a proof of concept, I think we've got some really, really good things lined up. And we're really excited about the future there.
Yeah. And I mean, I went to a couple of the events last year, and the turnout was incredible. Parking, it's a good problem. It's a good problem to have. I mean, that means there's a lot of people there, and that's what's beneficial for the tenants that are at Campus 805. Also, the vendors that you have set up, the food trucks, and everyone in between. Danny, talk a little bit about sort of the involvement with the music office, and from your perspective, being on the board with them, kind of gearing up for this new season and curating this lineup.
Yeah, so this event and partnering with DHI is just hand in glove with what the music office wants to do. It's an economic development activity, and it's designed to, as you mentioned earlier, to bring that young professional to Huntsville and want to live in Huntsville. Yeah. And it's hard to get employees, and it's hard to get talent.
Yeah.
And you don't want them coming here and not feeling at home or just delighted to live here. So from the music board perspective, this is really great. Part of, my involvement was mostly the nuts and bolts of helping the thing happen. Like, you got to get a stage, PA. And,
yeah.
And
it has to sound good. It has to look good.
It's got to look good. And really importantly, it has to feel good to these artists because they're nationally touring artists that are well-known and well-treated wherever they go. And they talk back to the promoters. Well, this year we're getting ready to do the second year of it. And it's just been a pleasure to work with the promoters because they're like, oh, yes, I remember that. It's great. Well, we've heard about your series. I have this act, and here's 4 others you might want to consider.
Wow.
Well, last year we were like, anybody.
Yeah, anybody come play. Please, please, please. And now it's like,
anybody out there.
I have more people, more acts that are wanting to come, more promoters that are wanting to have their acts be there than you maybe have the means to have. And so you're able to kind of figure out, how can you curate this lineup from the first event to the last event to tailor to everyone's music interests. Because, you want to showcase, I would assume, a variety of different artists.
Yes. Well, we want to be intentional about certainly the talent level and then what's going on at the time of those shows. So, and when you've got a big field to pick from, it's a lot easier.
And I think something that we also set out right at the beginning was we've got a lot of great music-related events in downtown and throughout the community. We didn't want to create an event that competed with concerts in the park or even, venues like the Furniture Factory. We really wanted to, go after a specific type of talent and really, I'd say almost like our goal with, talking to Danny about booking a lot of these groups is, we kind of wanted to find those groups that may, play a show here, and then in 2 or 3 years, you're like, I can't believe they played a free show in Huntsville.
Yeah.
And, I just remember when I was a young professional in Birmingham, we got to do that with St. Paul and Broken Bones. We got to see a free show at Avondale Brewing, and that's such a memorable experience because of what they come to, or what they've become since then. And I think we want to kind of create that opportunity here. So, I think we've been able to do that, and that's been really cool.
Yeah, and in the partnerships you have with all the tenants, like the anchors with Straight to Ale and Yellowhammer. I think Yellowhammer's even celebrating their anniversary while it's the kickoff during one of the shows.
Yeah.
I actually recently had Ethan over at Yellowhammer on the podcast again, and he was talking a little bit about that event and the importance and the excitement that is from their perspective of that event and just what it brings to the community. So, I mean, we've talked a lot about the event, but we haven't given any specifics. You want to talk a little bit about some of the acts that people can expect to see this year at 805 After 5?
Yeah, well, I'll let Danny get kind of into the specific acts, but I will say, I think, again, just attributing to the success of year one, it's not just Yellow. We've got 3 people or 3 partners that are celebrating anniversaries, and they want to make their anniversary celebrations as a part of Campus 805. So in May, Straight to Ale will be celebrating, I believe, their 10th anniversary maybe at Campus 805, and then in September, Campus 805 celebrating its 10th anniversary, and then we'll wrap up the event in October with 15th anniversary for Yellowhammer, and every single one of those events will kind of have a unique celebration and kind of, I guess, kind of a theme to the show. So that'll be really neat, and I think all 3 of these partners have a great history, and for them to want to celebrate that history with such a young event, I think it's really cool.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's incredible too. I mean, that there is those 3 things that are happening in conjunction with this big event that y'all have been putting on. But this process of booking this upcoming year is something that y'all probably started early in the end of 2024, probably kind of leading into this year.
Oh, last year during our events, we were talking about this year.
Oh, yeah.
You really can't stop on something like this, because as soon as you do, you're behind, and it needs to be that way because, again, having a group of great artists to pick from as opposed to searching for that anybody, it's a big deal. So we had a kind of a lineup that was laid out, and we said, okay, I want that, I want that, I want that. And luckily enough, the promoters were able to accommodate us.
Yeah. And so what are some of those acts, maybe with that, the kickoff event, which is happening in May, and then, moving into the full season?
Yeah. So the first show, I believe, is Thursday, May 15th. And we've got Lamont Landers headlining. I think he just signed a deal with Universal. Is that correct? And I think he's about to start touring. And
it is Universal, and he's been with High Road for a while.
Okay.
So the tour.
I saw he just sung the national anthem at the Nashville soccer match.
Yeah.
I was like, that's insane. That's cool. And it was and he's kind of a local.
Yeah, he's a local guy. And I know he's been really instrumental in kind of cultivating the local scene here. So we're going to kick off with him this year, and I think it's going to be a great kickoff for the event. But then I think it kind of kicks off his summer and fall, and it's kind of a great opportunity for both parties. So we're really looking forward to that. And then we've got some exciting, I believe we have the Dirty Dozen Brass Band on June 19th. And that what's exciting about that is we'll also have, I believe, the A&M Band opening for them. So it'll be a really fun night on Butler Green. And then one of the shows I'm most looking forward to in June, we have Eddie 9-Volt, who is really starting to become very popular, and, hear him on the radio sometimes. And I know he's getting on a lot of festival lineups. So that'll be a really fun show. And then in August, coming one of our bands that was on the lineup for South Star that didn't get to play that Sunday. Bully is going to headline our August show.
Wow.
We are working with the Scrimshire Company and Campus 805 to really create a great experience for the September. That'll be the Campus 805 10-year anniversary. So we'll make kind of a separate announcement for that. So we won't share who we got for September yet. But then in October, we'll wrap up the series again with the Yellowhammer 15th anniversary. And we'll have you're going to have to help me with the name, but we have a Grateful Dead cover band.
That's awesome.
Celebrating the 60th anniversary of the Grateful Dead. And
Wow.
I think they first played a show at Pizza Parlor in Menlo Park, and with Yellowhammer and Earth and Stone. It's just kind of a cool little connection there.
Yeah.
So
Stolen Faces.
That's right.
Okay.
So it'll be. I mean, I think we got just a really well-rounded lineup. Yeah,
and it's incredible just to see the assortment.
Mhm.
It's not like
Yeah.
one genre being represented. It's not one kind of artist. It's not one kind of band. It's everything under the sun. And you're able to really tailor the events to also, like you said, the 3 different anniversaries that are happening.
Yeah.
And I mean, as the weather, like it gets pretty warm in May and June, July, and then August you start seeing a little bit of a cooler weather, and then by that October event to kind of kick off the end of to wrap up the season. I mean, it's a beautiful event.
Yeah.
And it's an amazing time to be out there and kind of enjoying everything that is happening.
Yeah, and we'll also have some great openers. We'll have a mix of some touring openers and some local talent. And then one of the things that we're excited about is on the front end before kind of the bands hit the stage, we'll have Vertical House Records spinning some records for us and just kind of DJing the event a little bit. And I think that'll be a really cool local element added to it.
Yeah, and I remember last year, I think Vertical House even had some vinyl for sale of artists that were performing at the 805 after 5. And so like they were kind of in conjunction with what's going on. So it's exciting to see just the partnerships with all these local businesses, Tangled Strings, Vertical House, Campus 805, Yellowhammer, the list goes on.
Yeah.
As you're going into your second year, you're really excited. It's going to be, here in 2-3 weeks. What is sort of the metric of success for this year? What are you hoping to see as you get to October, get to November, and you get to look back on this event? What do you hope to see in the success of this event?
Well, I think we want to continue to see the attendance grow at the event. I think if people are attending the event, that means that it's still appealing to folks. It means that we're, doing a good job of curating kind of the experience. We're doing a good job of building a lineup of acts that people want to see and are excited to see. So I think that's important. But ultimately, and I'll kind of let, Danny talk a little bit about this, but I think, the ultimate measure of success is, the bands lining up to want to come back for year 3.
Yeah. Yes. That's really important. We do get feedback. We do the final settlement with all the bands, and the promoter always wants to know, says, "Hey, did everybody have a good time? And did it work out?" And I said, "Yeah, it was great." And then their bands report back. A music event has legs. It goes off and touches a lot of different people and businesses. And the way that Rob has and DHI has set up the field just looks like a festival. There's vendors and, the pop-up tents with the jewelry and the, soap and stuff like that. And it just really feels good out there. It's like a fun time to go.
Yeah, I mean, we want to curate an experience where, let's say, you're not necessarily into that band, or maybe you're not familiar with them, and but you still want to, go out with friends and, socialize and have a good time. You can still go to this event and, maybe you discover that you really like the band, but you didn't know it at the beginning, but you still had a really great time because there were vendors that appealed to you. There were some food trucks, great, tenants in Campus 805 that you got to explore, and you just have a good time. And that's really the goal, is we wanted to make this an event that appeals to everyone and not be beholden to the lineup. We want to provide, obviously, a great musical lineup, but we also want it to, be that can't miss event and people go to regardless of who's on the stage that night.
Yeah.
And
it's just a good time.
yeah, it's just a good time.
And
it's
we're
fun.
going to put good talent on the stage. We thank you for that budget, but it makes a difference. And it may not be your cup of tea, but when you're in a field with it, that's a pretty good cup of tea.
Yeah.
At a festival setting.
Oh, 100%. And I think, that the environment is just like every time that we went, we were just walking around. We were going in and out of different bars, different tents, trying different things, trying different food. Getting I think the recommendation as someone who's gone and kind of seen the success of it, and anyone's listening that maybe hasn't gone and is looking to go, get there early.
Yeah.
Make it a 8:05 after 3 or 8:05 after 4 because it gets busy, and it's one of those things too. There's enough there to kind of keep yourself busy even before the music starts. Like you said, Vertical House will be spinning records. There'll be music. There'll be tents getting set up. Like, get out there and kind of make it the whole evening. Make it what you're like. Today is what, like, I'm going to be at Campus 805. I'm going to listen to music and I'm going to hang out with friends. And I think, it's exciting. I'm excited for the event. I have it on our calendar to go to the first event. If anyone's listening or watching and they want to see the full lineup, probably by the time this episode comes out, we'll have a little bit more of the actual, I think later this week, the actual lineup goes out.
Yeah.
Where can people find it? Where people can connect with who's playing and all of that?
So we have a website, 805 After 5, and 805after5.com. We'll have the lineup there. You'll be able to learn more about all the acts that are coming through, the openers, you name it. And we'll continue to kind of update that throughout the series. So if, we have to move a show because of weather or whatever, that will get updated. So it'll be current. And you can also find on that website, some answers to, FAQs. So, what you can and can't bring, things like that. But that's probably the best place to find everything. Continue to follow DHI and the music office on our social media channels. We update those daily. So, you'll, in the weeks leading up to the event, you'll see on our social media channels a lot of promotion. So it'll just be a good way to follow and kind of keep up with everything.
Yeah, and we'll be sure to have everything in the episode notes. We'll have links to all of the links to the website, links to the socials, and all of that. But I appreciate y'all being here. I think this event is something I'm looking forward to. I think it's something that's been needed in Huntsville for years, and so it's exciting that it's coming around for year 2. I think the partnerships that you'll have with the 805 tenants and other partners that are helping making this event possible will be amazing. And then even just the growth it has moving into the next few years of really partnering with, I could see even partnering with some of these businesses and organizations to encourage their interns over the summer to go to this event.
So it's actually interesting that you said that. One thing that we, again, we learned a lot. So one of the things we wanted to do is provide an opportunity for some of these large employers that, have, teams of interns. How do we get them involved and how do we get them plugged in? So we are actually providing, I guess you would consider it a VIP experience, but similar to, a tailgate that you would see in Tuscaloosa or Auburn. We're going to provide, a tailgate experience. So, a large or a company or a corporation can reach out to DHI and say, hey, we want to, set up a team building event for the June show. What does that look like? And we can, we're working on a package with Straight to Ale and Yellowhammer and their kitchens to provide a tent with food, beer,
Awesome.
non-alcoholic
And
beverages.
So if someone's listening to this when it comes out in May,
Yeah.
can they, and their company or their organization is like, yes, I
Yep.
want to do this. Can they reach out to you via the website and get on that, do something like that for the July or August show?
Yes. So they can reach out to us. We'll tailor that experience based on how many people they are bringing and what they kind of want to capture in the moment. So we'll build that for them and everything like that. So we're excited to be able to offer that program.
I think that that'll be an amazing opportunity to connect. And like we talked about earlier, we want this workforce that comes in for the summer to say, hey, I could see myself living here. Right. And what better than to have this tailored VIP experience that has the Huntsville's two of the Huntsville's oldest breweries, and all of this history and all of these people, and just kind of creating this community.
Yeah.
So, but we'll be sure to have everything in the episode notes so people can find out links to everything. We'll be sure to get stuff out there for all of it. But I look forward to this event. I look forward to kind of coming out there for a few of them and enjoying everything that we've talked about. But I appreciate you both being here.
Well, we appreciate it.
Quite welcome.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Beyond Rockets. Don't forget you can subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen and on YouTube at Beyond Rockets. Be sure to follow me on Instagram at Beyond Rockets to stay up to date with new episodes as they are released. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you enjoyed.